Hello? Hello, mic test? Okay, may sound na. Hello, mic test? Last one? Okay, good. So we're going to start at 9:30. So meron ng sound. Excuse me. Well, this live stream will be recorded. So after this lesson or live stream, so you can watch this again in my YouTube channel. So while waiting for the others, so explain ko lang muna yung about sa pagpapasa ng module. So a lot of you are asking, may mga nag-PPM kung paano daw magpapasa ng module or yung tinatawag na SLEM. So yung module or SLEM, so kung naka-attend kayo during the orientation, so hindi po yun ipapasa sa akin ngayon. So for example, kung tapos na kayo sa module or sa module 1, so hindi nyo muna ipapasa sa akin yun. So ang explanation ko doon, so you're going to take a picture of your answers of module. And then ang gagawin doon, gagawin yung portfolio. So yun po ang gagawin doon sa mga sagot nyo sa module or SLEM. So let me see a comment nga kung naintindihan yung gagawin about sa module. So again, for module, so gagawin nyo po yung portfolio. So I send or I posted sample of portfolio in our FB group. So pwede nyo pong tingnan yun, pwede nyo pong i-check kung paano gumawa. Kasi yung iba nagtataka, paano daw ilalagay yung sagot sa module sa portfolio. So paano nga naman ilalagay? So ang gagawin nun or ang gagawin nyo, gagawa kayo ng sarili nyong portfolio, 'di ba? So pwede nyong or I mean, paano nyo ba gagawing portfolio yung module? So pipicturean nyo nga yung mga sagot nyo sa module. And then kapag napicturean nyo na yung mga sagot nyo sa module together with the solution, okay? Together with the solution, so yun yung gagawin yung portfolio. Yung mga pictures na naipon nyo, yung pictures ng mga sagot ng module nyo, yun yung gagawin ninyong portfolio. And dapat organized. So again, you can see that in the sample portfolio that I posted in our FB group. So wala po magpapasa ng module. Okay? So wala po magpapasa ng module sa akin, walang mag-PPM. Wala po tayong Google Classroom. So for this year, I'm not going to use Google Classroom. Okay? Para naman dun sa last or yung learning activity sheet, 'di ba dalawa 'yan? Yung una, yung module or SLEM, ayun ay para sa portfolio. Yung last naman or yung learning activity sheet, so saan naman ilalagay yung sagot nun? So ilalagay naman sa Google Form. So later, after ng ating live stream dito, after kong magturo, so isa-send ko na yung link ng Google Form for last one. Okay? So ibig sabihin, ilalagay nyo lahat ng sagot nyo sa last one doon sa Google Form na isa-send ko. And nag-send na rin ako ng mga sasagutan, kung ano lang yung sasagutan sa last one. Sinend ko rin ako na yan sa FB group natin. Ano pa ba? So yun pa. So nagkaroon po ako ng concern in terms of answering um, Google Form. Katulad nung sa pre-test. So explain ko lang po ha. Nung nag-post po ako ng link para sa pre-test, ang naka-post lang doon or ang parang naka-expose ay yung tunasan 6 na Google Form. So ang nangyari po, kahit taga-tunasan 1, taga-tunasan 2, 3, 4, and 5, ang ginawa, kinilik yung tunasan 6. At saka may makikita po kayo. Okay, sa Google Form, may makikita po kayong title doon or name ng section. Nakalagay naman sa Google Form kung tunasan 1, tunasan 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Ngayon, kung kayo ay taga-tunasan 2 at nakita nyo na yung inyong Google Form ay tunasan 5, so hindi nyo section yon, wag nyo pong sasagutan. So kapag nag-post po ako ng link, i-click nyo po yung see more. Di ba sa mga post merong see more para makita nyo yung ibang details or information ng post. So makikita nyo po doon yung link ng section ninyo. Okay? So bali 6 na link yung aking ipapasa mamaya. Link para sa tunasan 1, link para sa tunasan 2, link para sa tunasan 3, para sa tunasan 4, 5, and 6. So bali 6 na link po iyon. Ang ikiklik po ninyo na link ay yung section ninyo or yung link na para sa section ninyo. At kapag ka-click po ninyo ng link, makikita nyo po agad kung anong Google Form yung sinasagutan nyo. Kung tunasan 1 ba, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. So let me see a comment again kung naintindihan po about dun sa pagsasagot ng Google Form. Or kung may tanong, so you can comment here also in our live stream. Pwede po kayo mag-comment. Okay, so naintindihan naman. So I don't have any problem dun sa iba no, na naiintindihan. But, you know, I have more than 360 students. So, across 6 sections. So 360 plus. At marami pa ring mga nalilito. Okay, so para sa 118 na viewers, no? So 118 pa lang. So ganito po ang magiging sistema natin regarding answering Google Form. Kapag mali po yung Google Form na sinagutan ninyo, kunwari nagsagot kayo ng Google Form pero hindi nyo naman section yun, hindi ko po maire-record ang score ninyo. Okay, ulitin ko po ha. Kapag mali po ang link or ang Google Form na pinuntahan ninyo, hindi ko po maire-record ang score ninyo. So I have here a question or a question from your fellow student. So from Michelle Hicap, Sir, yung sa portfolio po ba sa math sa intermediate pad ilalagay yung sagot tapos insert sa portfolio? Okay. Regarding the portfolio or kung saan ilalagay yung sagot sa module, pwedeng sa intermediate pad, pwede rin sa bond paper, pwede rin namang sa notebook. So you can choose anything or any paper you want. hanggat malinis na papel, hanggat presentable na papel, okay lang. So pwede nyo pong gamitin kahit anong klase ng papel. So after nyo sagutan yun, for example, sinagutan nyo na sa intermediate pad yung inyong module, so pipicturean nyo po iyon at yun po yung gagawin ninyong portfolio. Yellow pad paper pwede rin. Pwede rin naman sa yellow pad. So it's up to you. Okay? Kung sa tingin nyo magiging maganda yung portfolio nyo kapag ginamitan nyo ng yellow pad, so that's fine. So you are free to choose. Ang mahalaga dyan ay meron kayong sagot at meron kayong solution. And of course, dapat presentable. Okay, so time check. It's already 9:38. Um, so later during the lesson, so I'm going to discuss quadratic equation and more about quadratic equation. So I will give you chance to ask question in the middle of the discussion. So magbibigay naman ako ng hint or magbibigay naman ako ng tawag dito ng cue kung pwede na kayo magtanong. Okay? And then I will answer maybe 1 to 2 questions muna in the middle of the discussion. And at the end of our discussion, so tatanggap pa rin po ako ng mga katanungan regarding the lesson. Okay, so let's start. So our topic for today is about quadratic equation. And just to remind you, yung ating lesson, this is good for 2 weeks. Okay? So 2 linggo po. So ito pong ating lesson ay for 2 weeks na po. And then I will also show you the different topics that we're going to discuss today. So let's start. Okay, so this quadratic equation or topic is for grade 9 math, first quarter, and this is good for weeks 1 and 2. So this is based on the module. So kung magsasagot kayo ng module 1 at saka module 2 or yung SLEM 1 at saka SLEM 2, so ito po yung makakatulong sa inyo. And also this is good for last 1. Kapag nagsagot kayo ng last 1, so lahat ng topic po sa last 1, so nandito po sa lesson natin ngayon. So kaya dun sa mga hindi pa sasagot ng kanilang last, so try to understand these topics so para masagutan niyo po yung inyong learning activity sheet. So let's move on. So the first thing is what I need to know. So this is for you, okay? For the students. Ano ba ang kailangan yung mga matutunan so ngayong araw? So medyo mahaba-haba po itong ating discussion kasi sabi ko nga, ito ay good for 2 weeks. So I hope kayo ay mag-hold lang dyan at ready na matuto. So the first one, so the students must be able to define and identify quadratic equation. So this is the first thing you need to learn. So define and identify quadratic equation. So kapag nagpakita ako ng isang given, so dapat later malaman nyo kung yung given na yon ay quadratic equation or not quadratic equation. Pangalawa, so transform quadratic equation into standard form. Okay? So in a quadratic equation, meron tayong tinatawag na standard form. So kaya natin nilalagay in standard form so para naka-organize or standard ang ating equation. Kasi kapag unorganized ang ating equation, so it will be hard for us to solve. So kaya kailangan nating ilagay in standard form. And last one, ito po yung medyo mahaba-haba, is to solve quadratic equation. So we have 4 ways in solving quadratic equation. So solve quadratic equation by, so number 1, extracting the square root. So number 2, so we can solve quadratic equation by factoring. So number 3, solving quadratic equation by completing the square. And last one is by using the quadratic formula. So bali 4 po yung mga paraan na yon para ma-solve natin yung quadratic equation. Okay, so next. So yan po ang inyong mga matutunan sa araw na ito. By the way, pangunahan ko na kayo, no? So regarding the part of completing the square and quadratic formula, um, gagawin na lang natin yung for asynchronous, no? So meron po akong video dito about completing the square and using quadratic formula. Nandito po yan sa YouTube channel ko. So I was not able to include that here in our presentation. So ang ating discussion po for today is hanggang factoring lang. So bakit? Kasi kukulangin tayo sa time. Okay? So baka abutin tayo ng 3 oras dito kapag sinama natin hanggang quadratic formula. So hindi ko na pwedeng ipilit na hanggang quadratic formula. Kasi baka makahirapan naman kayo mag-follow. Okay? So next. Okay, now. So let's start. So quadratic equation definition. So ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng quadratic equation? So based on our presentation, quadratic equation is a polynomial equation in one variable. So when we say one variable, isang variable lang ang ginamit or isang klase ng variable. Kung x lang ang ginamit, dapat x lang yung makikita. Kung y ang ginamit sa equation, so dapat y lang ang makikita. So polynomial equation in a degree of 2. Okay, so ito po yung pinakamahalagang part ng definition, degree of 2. So I'm going to explain that later. In the form, ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Okay, so yung equation na binasa ko, yung ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0, yun po yung tinatawag na standard form. Okay? So where a is not equal to 0. So yung a dapat is not equal to 0. So let's proceed. Okay, so that is the form of quadratic equation. So yan po yung itsura ng quadratic equation. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Okay, so let me explain now yung quadratic equation. So una, pag quadratic equation, so the first thing we have to consider is, of course, dapat equation. Okay? Dapat ang given ay equation. So, paano ba natin malalaman kung yung given ay equation? So, as simple as dapat meron siyang equal sign. Kasi medyo tricky yan sometimes in identifying quadratic equation. Minsan, mukha siyang quadratic equation because of the given, pero hindi natin nakita na wala palang equal sign. Okay? Medyo tricky yon. So the first thing we have to consider, una yung titingnan, dapat laging may equal sign. Kasi nga ang quadratic equation is an equation. Okay, next. So the next thing we have to consider is the degree of 2. Ano ba pag sinabing degree of 2? Paano ba natin malalaman yun kung degree of 2 yung equation? Okay, so I'm going to explain what degree is. So when we say degree of a polynomial, so it is the highest exponent of the variable. So I hope naman na alam nyo yung exponent. Okay, pag sinabi nating exponent, yun yung maliit na number sa ibabaw, sa upper right. So here in our equation, na pinakita ko, ang exponent dito ay 2. Okay? Or yung pinakamataas na exponent ay 2. So yun yung ibig sabihin ng quadratic equation, degree of 2. So dapat, para masabi natin quadratic equation yung given, ang pinakamataas na exponent ng variable, okay, we are talking about the variable, ay 2. So dapat ang titingnan natin ay yung exponent ng variable. Okay? Ano ba yung variable? Yun yung mga representations or yung kadalasan nating nakikita na letters. So dito we have the x squared. Okay? So the variable here is x. At kung mapapansin nyo, yung x ay may squared. At yun yung pinakamataas na exponent. So that's why, etong equation na to, we can consider this as quadratic equation. Okay, sabi ni 5 Bernardino squared. So very good, tama po yun. So that is the keyword for quadratic equation. Sir, tanong ko lang, nakikita ko po kasi dito merong A, B at saka C. Ang tanong ko po sir, variable po ba yun? Okay. So ang A, B at saka C na nakikita nyo dyan is not variable. Hindi po variable yan. So ano po ang variable dyan sa equation na yan? Ang variable lang dyan ay yung x. So ano yung A, B at C? Yung A, B at C, yan ay numerical coefficient at yung tinatawag nating constant. So in short, yan ay number or representation ng numbers. So hindi po yan variable. So later on, makikita pa natin or mas maiintindihan. Okay, sabi ni Jodelf, Pangowen X. So yan po yung ating variable, tama. Okay, so according here in our presentation, A, B, and C are real numbers. So mga real numbers po yan, okay? Or numbers. Para mas simple language yung ating gamitin. They are numbers. Now, so this is an example. So ito na yung actual example ng quadratic equation. We have here 4x squared plus 8x minus 9 equal to 0. So let's try to analyze paano naging quadratic equation niyan, no? So number one to consider is may equal sign ba? Okay, tandaan niyo po yun ha, yung mga things to consider. So may equal sign ba? Yes, may equal sign. Number two, degree of 2 ba yan? Okay? So yun yung pinakamahalaga eh. Degree of 2 ba? Yes. Bakit degree of 2 yan? Kasi nga, ang pinakamataas na exponent ng variable ay 2. So makikita natin yun dun sa part na 4x squared. So nandyan po sa ating presentation, 4x squared. Okay, next. Okay. So here, so you can be active. Okay, so pwede kayong mag-comment sa ating comment section and then try to identify kung ang given ba ay quadratic equation or not. So let's have the first one. Okay, so how about this one? X squared minus 2x plus 1 equal to 0. So let me see nga in the comment section, quadratic or not. Is this quadratic equation or not quadratic equation? Okay, so this one is a quadratic equation. Good. Okay, so far so good. Lahat naman ay nagsagot ay quadratic. Hindi ko lang alam kung yung iba ay naki-ride na lang sa flow ng comment na quadratic. But this one is a quadratic equation. So paano naging quadratic equation? So again, so the first thing is kung may equal sign ba? Yes, may equal sign naman. The second thing to consider is dapat ang pinakamataas na exponent ng variable ay 2. Okay? So we have here x squared minus 2x plus 1. So tama, quadratic po yan. So next, how about this one? 3x squared minus 5. Pag ganyan ba, can we still consider na quadratic equation yan? Okay. Okay, sabi ni Antonio, quadratic. Sabi naman ni Juliana, no. Sabi ni Joey, Kenneth, no. Okay, sabi ni Carlos Reynaldo Molina Cisnorio, I have to say your complete name. Ang sabi niya, quadratic equation but walang linear term. Very specific ha, very good yun. And that's the correct answer. So this one is a quadratic equation pa rin. Okay? Quadratic equation pa rin po ito. Bakit? Ulitin natin. Kailangan pong kailangan niyo maalala na meron tayong things to consider, di ba? So ang una, dapat may equal sign. Yes, may equal sign naman. Tama. Pangalawa, degree of 2 ba? Ang pinakamataas na exponent ba ng variable ay 2? So based on the equation, yes, di ba? Tama naman. Kasi ang variable natin dito ay x. Ano ang pinakamataas na variable ng x sa ating given 2? So therefore, ito ay quadratic equation. Okay? Next. How about this one? 7y minus y squared equals to 5. Check nga natin. 7y minus y squared equals to 5. So is this quadratic or not? Okay. So may quadratic, may not. Ulitin po natin, no? Pag sinabing quadratic, dapat ang pinakamataas na exponent ng variable ay 2. Ano ba ang pinakamataas na exponent ng variable dyan? Okay, this one is a quadratic equation still. Okay? Kasi nga, may equal sign naman. And the highest exponent of the variable is 2. Di ba? The highest exponent, ang mataas na exponent ng variable ay 2. Quadratic equation pa rin. So wag pong malilito. In quadratic equation, titingnan nyo lang kung may exponent na 2 yung variable. At wala nang tataas doon, di ba? So here, ang pinakamataas na exponent ay 2. Okay, no, nasa minus y. Yung nasa minus y squared. Okay, so this is a quadratic equation. Next, how about x plus 3x equal to 0? So quadratic equation or not? So here, kung mapapansin nyo, wala tayong nakitang exponent na 2, di ba? So kapag ganyan, kapag walang tayo nakitang exponent, automatic, ang pinakamataas na exponent dyan ay 1. Okay? So doon sa 3x at saka sa x, meron dyang exponent na 1. So this one is not quadratic equation. Kasi nga, ang pinakamataas na exponent nito ay 1 lang. So hindi 2. So wala tayong nakitang 2. Okay? So this one is not a quadratic equation. Okay, how about this one? So 3x cubed. So may 3 na. And then minus x squared plus 12 is equal to 4x plus 1. Quadratic equation or not? Okay, so this one is not a quadratic equation. So bakit? So kung mapapansin natin, meron namang 2, no? Meron siyang exponent na 2 dun sa variable, dun sa x. Pero kung mapapansin natin sa equation, ang pinakamataas na exponent ay 3. 'Di ba? So ang degree ng equation na to ay 3. Okay. So tama yung sinabi ni Princess Lorraine. So may cube na kasi or 3, x cube or x raised to 3. So dahil 3 na ang pinakamataas, hindi na siya quadratic equation. So dapat ang pinakamataas ay 2. So how about this one? 3x minus 8 squared is equal to 2x minus 11. Ito medyo tricky to ha. So medyo tricky, no? So quadratic equation ba to or not quadratic equation? So 3x minus 8 squared is equal to 2x minus 11. Okay. May mga magsasagot dito ng quadratic, meron ding not quadratic. Okay, so this one is not a quadratic equation. Bakit, no? Paano nangyari yun? Eh sir, kung makikita po natin may 2, oh. Meron po siyang exponent na 2. 'Di ba? Dun sa 8 squared. Akala ko po ba kapag merong exponent na 2 or yung pinakamataas na exponent ay 2. So dito po ang pinakamataas na exponent ay 2. Nasa 8 po. Bakit hindi po siya quadratic equation? So ang sagot dyan ay, di ba, in quadratic equation, ang titingnan natin ng exponent ay yung variable. Di ba? Hindi yung number. So ang exponent po ng variable, kung makikita natin dito, nasa 3x at saka 2x lang. So wala tayong nakitang 2, tama? So in short, hindi siya quadratic equation. Kasi nga, dapat ang quadratic equation, ang pinakamataas na exponent ng variable ay 2. Okay? So dapat nasa variable yung exponent na 2 at wala sa number. Yes, tama. Maria Jana Mayor. Okay, tama yun. So dapat nasa variable ang exponent na 2 at wala sa number. May equal po. May equal sign po yan. Jake Manguera. May equal sign po. Oh. Ayun, no, nasa pagitan ng 8 squared at saka 2x. Pero still not a quadratic equation. Okay? So I hope naintindihan nyo na kung ano yung quadratic equation or not. So let's proceed. Okay. How about this one? So x minus 1 and then squared. So may quantity na siya, oh. May quantity and then plus 6 equal to 0. So paano yan pag ganyan? Hindi natin masabi kung nasa variable ba yung squared, no? Quadratic ba yan or not? Okay, this one is quadratic equation. So kapag ganito po yung given, so we're going to simplify. Okay? Meron tayong tinatawag na simplification. So we need to simplify the equation. Okay? So paano natin gagawin yun? Okay. So yung x minus 1 and then my squared plus 6 equals to 0. So naging x minus 1 times x minus 1 plus 6 equal to 0. Paano nangyari yan, no? So ang ginawa natin, in-expand. Okay, pinahaba natin yung x minus 1 and then my squared, pinahaba natin. Ginawa natin x minus 1 times x minus 1. Okay, so paano naman nangyari yan? So isipin natin yung 5 squared. Diba pag sinabing 5 squared, kung naalala ninyo, kapag may squared yung number, so ibig sabihin, we have to multiply the number by itself 2 times. Katulad na nakikita nyo dyan. Pag sinabing 5 squared, ibig sabihin 5 times 5. Okay? So same thing here in x minus 1 and then squared. So pwede nating ilagay yan as x minus 1 times x minus 1. Katulad ng nakikita niyo sa ibaba. So kaya na-expand yung ating given. Okay, next. So hindi pa tayo tapos. Naku sir, paano yan? Nawala na yung squared, no? So paano yan? Nawala na yung squared. Tama, Gerald Celeste. Multiply to itself 2 times. So kaya nga isi-simplify pa natin. So paano ba tayo nagmumultiply ng binomials, di ba? Multiplying binomials, that is grade 8. Okay. Now, so we have what we called FOIL method. Natatandaan niyo pa ba yung FOIL method? So FOIL stands for F is first, and then O outer, I inner, and then L last. So we're going to do the FOIL method here in x minus 1 times x minus 1. So ibig sabihin po ng first, outer, inner, last, imumultiply po muna natin yung first terms, outer terms, inner terms, and last terms. So paano po yun? So review natin, no? So listen carefully kasi medyo tawag dito, matrabaho itong foil. So para hindi kayo malito. So yun, yung may square. So yan po yung, or rectangle rather. So yan po yung ating imumultiply. So the first one is the first. First term muna. Okay. Ayan po yung first term. Okay, yung may bilog, yung dalawang x. Ibig sabihin ng first term, yung dalawang naunang term. Okay? So we have to multiply that. So x times x is x squared. Okay? So step by step to ha. So once we're done with the first term, let's proceed to the outer, yung O, outer term. Ano yung outer? Pag sinabi nating outer, yan yung mga nasa labas na term. O yung mga nasa gilid. So ang outer term dyan ay yung x at saka yung negative 1. So we have to multiply that. So x times negative 1 is negative x. Okay? So x times negative 1 is negative x. So next one, inner. So ano naman yung inner? So ang inner terms dyan ay yung -1 and yung x. So nakikita niyo ba yung pattern? So inner, yung nasa loob. Okay, hindi na Gerald, sabi niya -1x, no? So kapag 1 yung katabi ng variable, so we don't write 1. Okay? Automatic na yun. So kaya dito kung mapapansin natin, -x. So we don't write 1 beside the variable. Hindi po tayo naglalagay ng number 1 sa tabi ng variable. Okay, so let's proceed. So -1 times x. So again, yan ay -x. And then last one, yung last terms naman, yung mga nasa dulong terms, so we have -1 and -1. And we have to multiply that. So -1 times -1, so based on rule of integers, when we are multiplying integers with the same sign, so magiging positive. Tama? So that's why -1 times -1 will be +1. Okay? And we are done with the FOIL method. At kung mapapansin nyo, no, lumabas yung squared dun sa variable, di ba? So kaya sabi ko dapat i-simplify muna natin. Okay. Walang sound. How about sa iba? Sabi ni DJ Nakario walang sound. So I think I have to continue. Kindly confirm naman po kung may sound or wala. Okay, let's continue. So after that, so we're just going to bring down yung mga natitira, no? So yung +6 equal to 0. So bring down lang natin yun. Okay? So next, so we are not done yet. Okay? So we have to simplify more. Kasi meron pa tayong tinatawag dyan na like terms. Ayun, yung like terms, no? Pag sinabi nating like terms, ayan yung magkaparehong term. So not totally magkapareho naman. Ito kasi ay parehong x variable, no? So kapag ganyan kasi pwede natin siyang pagsamahin or we can add. So -x minus x. Okay, pagsamahin lang natin -x at saka -x. So that will be -2x. Okay? So 1 plus 6, so we have to combine also that. So we have to add. So 1 plus 6 also. So the final answer will be 2x squared. So minus 2x plus 7. So paano nagkaroon ng minus 2x dyan? Pinagsama natin yung minus x and then minus x. And then 1 plus 6 is 7. Ngayon, kung makikita natin, so we can already identify kung ito ay quadratic or not. And this one is a quadratic equation kasi may equal sign at the same time, mas clear na siya ngayon, no? Mas clear na yung equation. Nakita na natin yung squared at nandun siya sa variable. Okay? So ang pinakamataas na exponent na dito ay 2. So this is a quadratic equation. Okay, next. So hinga lang tayo, no? So this is a new topic now. So we are done in identifying if the given is quadratic equation or not. So now, ang gagawin naman natin, so we're going to have standard form. Okay, here sa standard form, meron ng konting, hindi natin matatawag na solving, no? Pero simplifying. Parang katulad ng ginawa natin kanina. So parang ganun yung gagawin natin ngayon, simplifying. So ano ba yung standard form ng quadratic equation? So when we say standard form, so ito po yung itsura ng standard form. Ax squared plus bx plus c equal to 0. At yung a must not equal to 0. Kapag naging 0 kasi yung a dyan, hindi na siya quadratic equation. Mawawala yung quadratic term dyan, yung x squared. Okay, so I'm going to explain this further. Okay, so ano ba yung mga kailangan nating tandaan? Kasi ang hirap naman kung ito lang yung titingnan natin, no? Na ax squared plus bx plus 0 equals to ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. So hindi pwedeng yan lang, no? Kasi mahihirapan tayo. So that's why kailangan natin magkaroon ng tawag dito ng tips or reminders na tinatawag natin. Paano natin malalaman kung ang given is standard form? So ito yung una natin i-consider. Dapat ang right side ng equation ay equal to 0. Okay? So that is the first thing. So kapag equal to 0, so pwede siyang maging standard form. So in short, kapag nakita nyo yung given, hindi na siya equal to 0, automatic hindi na siya standard form. So dapat equal to 0. So that is the first thing to consider. Okay, next one, the degree of each term must be in descending order. Ano ibig sabihin nun? So yung degree, di ba yung degree, yan yung exponent ng variable. Sabi dito, kailangan daw yung degree ay pababa, in descending order. So katulad dito, ax squared. So ang degree niyan ay 2. Tapos plus bx. Yung x dyan, ang exponent niyan ay 1. So 2, 1, pababa, okay? And then plus c. Yung c dyan, wala namang variable, walang x. So ibig sabihin, ang degree niyan ay 0. So in short, ang arrangement dapat ng quadratic equation or ng standard form is pababa. Ang degree niya ay 2, 1, 0. And then the terms are at most 3. So dapat ang bilang ng terms ay 3 lang, hanggang 3. Hindi siya pwedeng maging 4. Okay? Pwedeng maging 1, pwedeng maging 2, pwedeng maging 3 yung bilang ng terms. So ano ba yung mga terms? So yung ax squared, isang term na yon. Yung bx, another term yon. And then yung c, another term. So paano natin mabibilang yung term? So they are separated by plus or minus, no? So ibig sabihin, yung ax squared, yung bx, at saka yung c, bali 3 terms yon. So in standard form daw, kailangan hanggang 3 lang. So at most 3 yung bilang ng terms. Kapag naging 4 yan, so hindi pa standard yan. Okay? So review natin. So paano masasabing standard form? Una, right side of the equation must be equal to 0. And then yung degree ng term dapat ay pababa. So ito yung pinakamahalaga dyan eh. Or yung pinakadapat tingnan natin. Dapat pababa yung order nung term. So dapat yung kanyang exponent ay 2, 1, 0. Then the terms are at most 3. Okay, katulad nito. So this is an example of quadratic equation na naka-standard form. So tingnan natin. Equal to 0 ba? Okay, yes. Check yon, no? Number 2. Yung degree ba ng term ay pababa? So nauna yung m squared, pinakamataas muna. Tapos sumunod yung m. And then sumunod yung wala ng variable, which is 10. So pababa siya, no? So ibig sabihin, check ulit yung pangalawa. How about yung pangatlo naman? The terms are at most 3. Okay, hanggang 3 lang. So bilangin nga natin yung terms. So 5m squared, so isang term. 14m, another term. And then 10. So another term yun. So 3. So in short, this one is in standard form. Okay? So how about this one? So try nga, kayo nga. 7x minus 12 plus x squared equal to 0. Let me see in the comment section. Standard ba to or not? We are not talking about quadratic or not, ha? Tapos na tayo doon. Automatic ito po ay quadratic. Ang tinatanong ko na ngayon, standard ba or not? Okay, bakit hindi siya standard? I-analyze ulit natin. Very good. So this is not in standard. Okay, very good. So bakit? So kailangan ma-meet natin yung 3 condition, no? Pag isa doon hindi natin na-meet, hindi na siya standard. O check natin. Okay naman yung una, no? Equal to 0 naman. O tama yun, check yun. Equal to 0. Pero ang problema dito, hindi siya naka-arrange. Tama? Hindi siya naka-arrange. So nauna yung 7x, tapos sumunod yung minus 12, tapos nasa dulo yung x squared. So paano yung arrangement ng ano dyan, ng term or ng degree? Ang arrangement ng degree dyan ay 1, 0, 2. Okay? So hindi po siya standard. So ang arrangement po ng term ay 1, 0, and then 2. So hindi siya standard form. Okay? So ngayon, alam nyo na kung paano mag-identify kung standard or not standard. So ang gagawin natin na kasunod ay we're going to make it standard. Okay, very good Christine, B9, no? Hindi siya naka-descending order. Very good yun. So ngayon naman, so we're going to make the not standard form into standard form. Okay, like this one. So 3x plus 2x squared equals to 7. Obvious na agad, no? Hindi na siya standard form. Bakit? Una pa lang, hindi na agad siya equal to 0. Naka-equal to 7. So mali na agad, no? So ngayon, yung mga mali na hindi naka-standard, itatama natin ngayon. Okay? Gagawin natin siyang standard. So hindi kasi natatapos yung lesson in just identifying kung standard or not. Kung not standard, dapat gawin natin siyang standard. So paano natin gagawin yon? Okay. So ipapakita ko ulit yung mga things to consider. So the right side of the equation must be equal to 0. So hindi siya equal to 0, no? And hindi rin siya naka-arrange kasi nauna yung x bago yung x squared. So itatama natin ngayon yan. So ang tanong, paano natin gagawing 0, no? Yung right side. So paano natin gagawing 0? Okay, here. So kung mapapansin ninyo, so nag-minus ako ng 7, di ba? Dun sa right side. So 7 minus 7 kasi ay 0. Okay, ganun natin gagawing 0 yung right side. Hindi natin pwedeng basta tanggalin, no? So mali yun. So we have to simplify or we have to manipulate rather. Or pwede ring transpose, no? Okay. So kung makikita nyo dito, nag-minus ako ng 7 dun sa kaliwa. Nag-minus din ako ng 7 dun sa kanan. Okay? So ganyan po dapat ang manipulation. Kung ano po ang ginawa natin sa kaliwa, gagawin din natin sa kanan. So kung nag-minus 7 tayo sa kaliwang side na equation, so dapat mag-minus 7 din tayo sa right side. Okay. So kapag ganyan po yung nangyari, magiging 0 na yung kanan kasi nga 7 minus 7 is equal to 0, no? So next one, so ganyan na po yung magiging bago nating equation. Okay na, no? Nauunti-unti na natin. So bali yung right side ay 0 na. Napunta yung 7 dun sa left side at naging negative siya. So next one. So tama na ba to? Standard na? So hindi pa rin, no? Kasi hindi siya naka-arrange. So dapat nating arrange. Dapat mauuna yung 2x squared muna and then susundan ng 3x at saka yung negative 7. So ang mangyayari dyan, so 2x squared plus 3x minus 7 equal to 0. Ayan, very good si Jose M. Very good. So yan po ang standard form. Rearrange. Very good, Princess. Rearrange po. Tama po yun. So next. So we still have a more. No? More given. So pakita muna natin yung mga things to consider, no? Para hindi nyo malimutan at para mag-guide muna kayo. Okay, yan. So paano naman yan? So 2x plus 7 times x minus 1. Okay? So sisimplify muna natin yan. Katulad ng ginawa natin kanina, di ba? So we did the FOIL method. Kapag ganyan kasi, pag may dalawang binomial, and then we have to multiply. So we're going to use FOIL method. So the first, outer, inner, and then last. So try natin. The first term, 2x and then x. So we're going to multiply that. 2x times x is 2x squared. So after that, outer naman, outer terms. Ayun. So ang outer terms natin ay 2x and negative 1. So 2x times negative 1, so that will be minus 2x or negative 2x. So we're done with the outer. So let's proceed to the inner terms. Anong inner terms dito? So we have 7 and x. So 7 times x is 7x. Yes, use FOIL method. And then the last term, we have 7 times negative 1. So that will be minus 7. And then copy lang natin or bring down yung equal to 0. So now if we're going to take a look here, once we did the FOIL method, nakita natin yung squared, no? Nakita natin yung squared doon sa 2x squared. So lumabas na yung quadratic. Ang tanong ngayon, sir, standard form na po ba yan? Naka-standard na ba yan? So you can comment down below. Try to analyze kung naka-standard na. Equal to 0 na ba? Ang degree ba ng term ay pababa or in descending order? Ang terms ba ay at most 3? Not standard. Okay. Hindi pa siya standard kasi apat yung term, 'di ba? Kung mapapansin niyo, apat yung term. Ang term dapat ay hanggang 3. Ulitin ko, in standard form, pwedeng isa ang term, pwedeng 2, pwede ring 3. Pero hindi pwedeng lumagpas sa 3. Okay, very good. O ngayon, paano natin gagawing 3 lang yung term? Paano natin gagawing 3 yung term? So meron ditong like terms. Ayan. So we have negative 2x at saka 7x. Para sa numbers lang yan, we can add, no? We can add. So negative 2x plus 7x. So what is the answer? So in adding or combining like terms, so the first thing we have to do, ikakopy muna natin yung variable. Ang variable dyan ay x. Tama? After natin i-copy yung variable, so we have to check the number or the numerical coefficient, which is negative 2 at saka 7. So negative 2 plus 7, so that is 5. So therefore, ito po yung magiging bago nating equation. So 2x squared, biniring down ko lang, and then binilugan ko yung 5x. Okay? So 5x po. Pag pinagsama yung negative 2x at saka 7x. And then bring down lang din yung minus 7. And then equal to 0. So now, naka-standard form na siya. Tama? The right side is equal to 0. Ngayon, naka-descending order na rin siya. No? So x squared or 2x squared, 2 muna. And then 5x, 1. 1 yung exponent nun. And then pag 7, yung negative 7, wala siyang kasamang variable, automatic 0 ang degree. Okay? So naka-arrange na siya. And of course, yung inayos natin, kanina 4 na terms, hindi nga pwede yon, di ba? So ginawa nating 3 terms. So naka-standard na siya. Okay? So good thing naka-follow yung iba, no? So I hope yung iba din ay natututo sa ating topic. So next. So hindi po negative 9, okay? Kasi negative 2 at saka 7 yan, positive 7. So dapat yan ay positive 7 po, positive 7. Hindi po, positive 5 rather. So yun, dapat i-review nyo yung integers. So paano naging positive 5? O quick review natin, negative 2 plus 7. Quick review. Magkaiba ng sign. Kapag magkaiba ng sign, pinagsama, ima-minus yan. So 7 minus 2 ay 5. Ngayon, paano natin malalaman kung negative 5 or positive 5? Titingnan natin yung sign ng mas malaking number. Ano bang mas malaki? Yung 2 or 7? So mas malaking number yung 7 at kung makikita natin ang 7 ay positive, so therefore dapat plus 5. Okay, quick review lang. Okay, next. So here, So napakita na agad yung step, no? So we have 5y minus 2y plus 3. Okay, minus 8. So ganun ulit, nag 8 minus 8 ulit tayo. So para maging 0. Kasi nga, not equal to 0 yung right side, di ba? Equals to 8. So ginawa nating equal to 0. At yung negative 8 nandun na sa kaliwa. So this time naman, hindi tayo gagamit ng FOIL method dito. Okay? So bakit hindi tayo gamit ng FOIL method? Kasi yung 5y, monomial lang siya. Kapag ang given ay monomial, multiply by binomial, hindi na ginagamitan ng ano yun, ng FOIL method. So ang ginagamit doon ay yung tinatawag nating distribution method, no? So how do we do distribution method? Okay. So distribution method, so here, so kailangan 5y times 2y. So that will be 10y squared. So i-distribute natin yung 5y dun sa 2y at saka dun sa 3. Imumultiply natin. So 5y times 2y, so that is 10y squared. 5 times 2 is 10, and then y times y is y squared. Okay, next. So we have here 5y times 3. So that will be plus 15y. And then, of course, we just have to bring down minus 8 and then equal to 0. Now, before we proceed, i-check muna natin kung standard na, no? So, ang right side ay 0. So, check na yon. So, number 1. Naka-descending order ba? Pababa ba? Okay, nauna yung y squared. So, sumunod yung 15y, tama. And then, sumunod yung 8. So, tama na rin yung arrangement. And then, last one, 3 terms ba? Yes, 3 terms naman, no? Or hindi naman lumagpas ng 3 terms. So therefore, final answer na to. So this is already our final answer. So 10y squared plus 15y minus 8 equal to 0. Okay? So that's how we do standard form of quadratic equation. Okay. So next one. Okay, may tanong ba about standard form? Kasi ang kasunod na gagawin na natin ngayon, we are going to solve. Solving na po tayo. So may tanong po ba about sa standard form at saka about sa pag-identify kung quadratic or not? So I will give you chance to ask. Okay, I'm still waiting po, no? Wala na? Oh, by the way, ha, yung just to explain, no, yung comment nyo is delayed. Okay? Delayed po yun. Delayed. So, ibig sabihin, kapag ka-comment nyo, so it's like 30 seconds pa after bago ko mabasa. So, medyo delayed po. Ganun po talaga pag sa live stream. Okay, so let's proceed, no? Solving quadratic equation. So, this is the main event, no? Parang main event natin to today. So, magso-solve na tayo. Kasi, di ba, in math naman, most of the time, we solve. Okay? So, overview lang. So, I'm going to tell you the different ways in solving quadratic equation. So, number 1, so that is by extracting the square root. So, number 2 is by factoring. Number 3 is by completing the square. And last one, by using quadratic formula. So, more than 1 hour na po tayo, no? Time check lang. So, that's why, sabi ko nga kanina, so we're just going to deal with 2, no? Yung by extracting the square root and then by factoring. Yung completing the square and using quadratic formula, so you can watch that here in my YouTube channel, no? So para malaman nyo kung ano po yung pagsasolve ng completing the square at quadratic formula. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay. So pwede nyo po itong screenshot or pwede nyo isulat. So kung mabilis naman kayo magsulat. Before we solve, no, I'm going to teach you. Okay? So I'm going to teach you tips on solving quadratic equation. Ito pong tips na ito ay gamit na gamit po ito. So that's why you have to know. Okay? So you have to know po the tips in solving quadratic equation. So malabo, I'm not sure. Baka signal. Sa signal ko or baka sa signal nyo. Okay, so listen na lang, no? So let's just proceed first. Maybe sa ano to, sa um, signal. So let's try to fix. Okay. So kindly check if it's already fine or ganun pa rin yung presentation. So stop ko muna yung ano yung screen. Okay. Kindly check. Kindly comment down below kung okay na po ang ating presentation so I can proceed. Okay na po ba? Malinaw na? Okay, good. So let's proceed, no? So before anything else in solving, so you have to know the tips in solving quadratic equation. So itong tips na to, makakatulong to sa inyo para ma-refresh kayo, okay, in solving, para mag-guide din kayo in solving. Kasi yan ang mahirap sa solving eh. Once you solve a problem or a quadratic equation or any equation, so sometimes wala kayong guide. So it's like you don't know how to do it first, no? You don't know how to solve. Kasi nga wala kayong guide. So ito makakatulong to sa inyo. Okay. Now, so the first tip, okay? Ito po ang pinakamahalaga sa lahat. The variable must be alone. Napakahalaga po niyan. So that is the end goal in solving. Kasi ano eh, in solving kasi dapat alam nyo rin kung kailan na kayo magi-stop ng solving, 'di ba? Sometimes kasi hindi nyo alam kailan ko na bang mag-stop in solving or kailangan ko pang magpatuloy. So this is the clue para malaman nyo kung kailangan nyo na mag-stop in solving or not. Once na ang variable ay alone na, ibig sabihin wala na siyang kasama, wala na kasamang number, wala na exponent na iba, variable na lang talaga siya. So meaning to say you are done solving. Okay, so that is the first one. Number two. Yung number two naman, this is about the manipulation. Ito na yung sa part ng solving na, no? Yung kapag nag-add na tayo, nagmumultiply, okay. So do it to the left, do it to the right. Okay? So that is another tip. Now, anong ibig sabihin yan? Yung do it to the left, do it to the right, ibig sabihin whatever you're going to do in the left side of the equation, you should also do it in the right side of the equation. Okay? For example, kapag nag-add ka ng 2 sa left, so dapat mag-a-add ka rin ng 2 sa right. Hindi pwedeng sa left ka lang mag-a-add. Hindi pwedeng sa right ka lang mag-a-add. Kaya bakit kailangan gawin 'yon? So para maging balance. Okay? Para maging balance yung ating equation. So plus 2 and then plus 2. Do it to the left, do it to the right. Next. So the farthest number from the variable must be removed first. Okay? So the farthest number from the variable must be removed first. Ngayon, another thing in solving, minsan, ang daming number na nakikita natin, di ba? Ang daming number na iba't ibang klaseng number na nakikita natin in one equation. Ngayon, para alam nyo kung ano yung gagawin, so ito pong tip na to ang makatulong sa inyo. Kung ano yung pinakamalayong tawag dito, number dun sa variable, yun po ang una nating tatanggalin. Kasi in solving, hindi natin pwedeng tanggalin lahat ng sabay-sabay yan. Okay, hindi natin pwedeng i-remove lahat ng number ng sabay-sabay. Okay? So before we proceed, so let's have 2 to 3 minutes break. So para makapagpahinga ng konti, para hindi kayo ma-overload, information overload. And then I will be right back in 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue po, no? Okay. Sound check po. Kindly comment down below kung okay po ang presentation and yung aking boses po. So I can proceed. Hello? Okay, good. Okay, now, um, ngayon gagawin natin yung mga tips na binigay ko. No? So I'm going to explain. Okay, I'm going to explain. So the first tip, the variable must be alone. Okay? So ngayon, para mas clear sa inyo kung ano ibig sabihin ng the variable must be alone. Excuse me. Now, katulad niyan, x is equal to 4. Okay? So here in our given, the variable is already alone, no? So kung mapapansin niyo yung x dito, so wala na siyang kasama. Okay? So wala na siyang 2, wala nang 2x, wala nang squared or x squared. So kapag ganyan po, ibig sabihin, tapos na yung solving. Kapag alone yung variable, tapos na yung solving. So you are done. Okay? Okay, next. So that is the variable must be alone. So ito naman yung do it to the left, do it to the right. So paano naman to? Okay, here. So we have here x minus 4 equal to 0. Di ba ang end goal nga ng solving is to make the variable alone. So ibig sabihin kung hindi pa alone yung variable, katulad nito, x minus 4 equal to 0, di ba? Yung x may kasama pa siyang negative 4. So kailangan natin tanggalin yung negative 4 para maging alone yung variable, para matapos na yung solving. Ang tanong dyan, sir, paano po natin matatanggal yung negative 4? So ito, gagamitin natin yung do it to the left and then do it to the right. So ngayon, yung negative 4, so dapat maging 0 kasi to. So ano ba ang kailangang i-add sa negative 4 para maging 0? So ano yung kailangan nating i-add sa negative 4 para maging 0? So we're going to add 4. So kung mapapansin nyo, so we have here x minus 4 and then nag-add ako ng 4. Kasi negative 4 plus 4 is 0. Pag ganun, pwede na nating i-cancel out yung negative 4 at 4. So in that case, magiging alone na yung x. Ngayon, nag-add ako ng 4. sa left. Okay? Kung makikita niyo po sa ating presentation, kung nag-add ako ng 4 sa left, dapat mag-add din ako ng 4 sa right side. So hindi po pwedeng sa left lang mag-add para maging balance po yung equation. And then with that, pwede na natin i-cancel yung negative 4 plus 4. At kapag na-cancel natin yan, alone na yung variable. Di ba yun nga yung end goal natin eh. Ang end goal natin is to make the variable alone. And with that, so 0 plus 4 on the right side, so we have x is equal to 4. And tapos na yung solving. So that is do it to the left and do it to the right. So I hope clear po yun, no? Kasi magagamit natin yan during the solving part. And then the last one, the farthest number from the variable must be removed first. Okay? Kung ano po yung pinakamalayong number dun sa variable, yun yung una nating tatanggalin. O katulad niyan, di ba? We have 2x squared minus 32 equal to 0. So ito po yung binabanggit ko, no? So yung iba, pag nakita yan, hindi alam kung anong unang gagawin. So that's why mahalaga yung mga tip. Okay, now. So, obviously, hindi pa alone yung variable natin. It's not yet isolated, di ba? So ang dami niya kasama. Meron siyang 2 na katabi, may exponent na 2, and then meron pang minus 32. Tama? Ngayon, gagawin nating alone, syempre yung variable dito. Because that is solving eh. So that's how you solve. So ang concern natin dito, hindi natin pwedeng pagsabay-sabay yung tanggalin yung 2, yung exponent at saka yung negative 32 para maging alone yung variable. Tama? So hindi po natin pwedeng gawin yon. So we're going to do it one by one. We're going to remove the number na kasama ng x one by one. So kaya ang tanong dito, ano ang unang tatanggalin? Okay? So kaya yung tip dyan, the farthest number, yung pinakamalayo. Ano ba ang pinakamalayong number dyan dun sa variable? So except 0 ha, kasi syempre yung 0 is on the right side. So ang pinakamalayo dyan ay yung negative 32. So that's why yung negative 32, dapat matanggal yan dyan. So paano natin tatanggalin? So hindi naman natin pwedeng basta tanggalin. So gagamitin natin yung una nating tip, yung do it to the left, do it to the right. So paano natin ma-remove yung negative 32? Dapat maging 0 yan. So we have to add 32. So yan po yung unang tatanggalin. So we have to add 32. So 2x squared minus 32 and then plus 32. Kasi makakancel na natin yan, di ba? Then of course, again, kailangan mag-add din tayo ng 32 sa right side. Kasi yun yung ating tawag dito tip or kailangan gawin to make the equation balance. So nag-add din tayo ng 32. Okay? So we're not going to finish the solving, no? So pinakita ko lang kung ano yung ibig sabihin ng the farthest number from the variable must be removed first. So we can cancel that. Okay? So hindi na po natin tatapusin. But if you can, so mas maganda, no? Na advance na agad kayo. Now, before we move on, ito pong mga tips na binigay ko is not always applicable in all kinds of solving. Ha? So hindi po siya laging applicable. Pero one thing is for sure, so madalas po ninyo magagamit ito at makakatulong po ito in solving. So next. So ito yung pinakaunang solving. Solving quadratic equation by extracting the square root. So square root of a number. So that is our keyword. So that's why before we proceed to the solving part, so let's have a review. Mag-review muna tayo, no? Let's review the square root of a number. So you have this already before. So yan po yung itsura ng square root. So check nga natin ano pong square root ng 16. So anyone? Kindly comment down below. So simple lang naman yan. Square root of 16. Okay. 4. Princess Lorraine de Castro. So I have to tell your name, no? So siya yung nakakuha ng exact answer. Pero yung 4, tama rin naman yan. But the most accurate answer here is positive, negative 4. So paano po nangyaring positive, negative 4? Sir, paano nagkaroon ng positive negative? So, i-explain ko kung bakit ang square root ng 16 ay positive negative. Okay. So, pag sinabing positive negative 4, ibig sabihin ang sagot natin ay positive 4 at negative 4. So, in short, ang square root ng 16 ay positive 4 at negative 4. So, review ulit natin. Di ba ang kabaligtaran ng square root ay yung squared, no? So, pag nagkaroon tayo ng 4 squared, ibig sabihin yan, 4 times 4. And then equal to 16. Okay? Kaya nga ang square root ng 16 ay 4. Tama? So, applicable din yan sa negative. Kasi, kapag meron tayong katulad niyan, negative 4 squared, so negative 4 times negative 4, positive 16 pa rin. So, nakuha po ba? So, that's why, when you are getting the square root of a number, so you have to include positive, negative. Okay? So, continue tayo. So, how about square root of 49? Ano po ang square root ng 49? Okay, good. So, positive, negative 7. Siguro yung iba, naghahanap pa ng insert symbol, no? Pero sige, okay na yung 7 for now. Basta dapat alam nyo na positive, negative 7. How about 121? What is the square root of 121? Square root of 121. So that is 11 or positive, negative 11. Okay, next. How about square root of 196? So what is the square root of 196? Square root of 196? Okay, good. So that is positive, negative 14. And last one, 441. 441. So that is positive, negative 21. So that is for our review. So square root of a number. Kasi magagamit natin to later on. Kasi nga ang solving natin, ang unang solving ay extracting the square root. Okay. So let's have this first example. We have x squared is equal to 16. So how are we going to solve this? By extracting the square root. Let's go back to our tips, no? So una kong tanong sa inyo, alone na ba ang variable? So we have here x squared is equal to 16. So alone na ba ang variable? So obviously not, no? Hindi pa siya alone. So therefore, hindi pa tapos yung solving. So here, we have to remove the squared or yung 2. So kindly listen, no? Ngayon, kapag may squared yung variable, to remove that, yes, very good, Rafael Joseph Tabud, no? So we have to use radical sign or the square root. So we're going to get the square root of the left side. So square root of x squared. And of course, another tip, di ba? Do it to the left, do it to the right. So kung naglagay tayo ng radical sign or when we get the square root of the left side, we have also to get the square root of the right side. O yan ha, nagagamit na po natin yung mga tip, no? Ngayon, kapag ang term kasi, we have x squared and then nilagyan natin ng square root, we can cancel that. Okay? So we can cancel that. So remember po ha, kung makakancel na natin yan, of course, the variable will be alone. So magiging alone na tong x. And of course, we have to simplify the right side. Okay? So what is the square root of 16? So the square root of 16 is positive negative 4. Therefore, the final answer is x is equal to positive negative 4. So that's how we solve by extracting the square root. Madali lang, di ba? Okay, madali lang. Because simple pa lang kasi ang ating given. This is the simplest given. So let's try another one. Okay, how about this one? No? Yan. 4m squared minus 100. So ano ang una nating gagawin dyan? Tatanggalin ba natin muna yung 4, yung 2, o yung negative 100? Kasi nga, ang end goal natin kailangan maging alone ng variable. So that's why we have to remove all the numbers beside the variable. So ito yung pangatlong tip, di ba? The farthest number, so ayan po yung mga tip, no? The farthest number from the variable must be removed first. So anong una nating tatanggalin dyan? Ang unang tatanggalin ay yung negative 100. Okay, good. So yung negative 100. And how to do that? How are we going to remove negative 100? So yung iba no nakukuha na agad yung sagot. But for the others, we have to do it one by one. Okay? So try to answer muna my question. So again, how are we going to remove negative 100? So we have to make it 0. Okay, good. Anika, very good. So we have to add 100. So add 100 to the left and add 100 to the right. Kasi nga, part of the tip, yes, very good. Do it to the left. Parang ano ata ito. Yung kay Jazz, baka typographical. Sabi niya kasi do it to the left, do it to the left. It should be do it to the left, do it to the right. Okay? So ayun. So we have to add 100 on the left. We add to add 100 on the right. Okay? So do it to the left, do it to the right. So don't forget that, ha? Kasi kapag sa left side lang kayo nagbago, so mali po ang magiging sagot ninyo. Okay, so next. So with that, we can cancel 100 or negative 100. So what will remain is 4m squared. So simply rewrite muna natin. So 0 plus 100, that is simply 100. Ayan, so konti na lang yung kasama ng m. We have 4 at saka yung 2, no? So now, sir, paano yan? Ano po ang una namin tatanggalin? Di namin alam kung ano mas malayo, yung 4 or yung 2. Okay? Ngayon, in this part, my recommendation is, ang huli laging tatanggalin ay yung exponent. That is my recommendation. Huling tanggalin yung exponent. Kung hindi alam kung anong unang tatanggalin or kung ano yung mas malapit, kasi parehong nakadikit yan 4 at saka 2. So my recommendation is, una po nating tanggalin ay yung katabi. Ihuhuli po lagi natin yung exponent. Okay? So now, so what will happen here? So we have to remove first yung 4. Okay? Yung iba may nakikita ko dito, tama rin yun. Pwedeng i-radical muna. But the concern here is, hindi kasi lahat ng katabi ng number, kasi nagkataon lang dito na yung 4 ay perfect square. Kasi ang square root ng 4 ay 2. So kaya pwede nating unang tanggalin yung square root. But again, my recommendation is huli pong tatanggalin yung exponent. Ngayon, so how are we going to remove 4? Kasi yun muna una natin tatanggalin So paano natin matatanggal yung 4 dyan? So how are we going to simplify? So dahil katabi yan, 4m, so what we're going to do is to divide by 4. Okay? Kasi pag dinivide natin yan by 4, so we can cancel that out. And again and again, so whatever we're going to do in the left side, we're going to do it also in the right side. So if we divide 4 on the left, so we have also to divide 4 on the right. Okay? Now, so after that, so we're going to cancel now 4. Okay? So cancel 4. Okay, cancel na po. So what will remain now is m squared. And of course, we have to simplify the right side. Kasi meron pa tayong 100 divided by 4. Okay? So 100 divided by 4 is 25. So ang panibago po nating equation, so the new equation here is m squared is equal to 25. And now we are almost done. So kung mapapansin ninyo, no, unti-unti nating natanggal yung mga kasama ng m at unti-unting nagiging alone yung m. Okay? So that's how we do it. So how are we going to remove the squared? So katulad nga na sinabi ko kanina, when we have squared, so we just have to get the square root. Okay? So we have to get the square root. So get the square root of the left, get the square root of the right side. And then we can cancel the radical and the squared. So what will remain here is m. So m na lang. So alone na siya. And now, for the final part, we have to get the square root of 25. And what is the square root of 25? So the final answer will be positive and negative 5. So I hope naka-follow yung iba, no? So that's how we do solving quadratic equation by extracting the square root. Okay, next. Okay, so lagi ko pong ilalagay sa right side yung mga tip, no? Kasi syempre, this is your first time to encounter solving quadratic equation. Okay, so how about this one? Yan, ibang ano naman, ibang form. You know, ganyan kasi sa math, no? So hindi siya isang ano lang, isang form. May iba't ibang form talaga. Katulad niyan. So nasa labas naman yung squared, no? So paano natin gagawin 'yan? So we have y plus 7 and then squared is equal to 64. So ngayon, of course, the variable must be alone, pero may kasama siyang 7 at may kasama siyang squared na 2. So ngayon, ano bang mas malayo dyan? 7 or 2? So ang mas malayo dyan ay 2. Of course, hindi kasama ang 64, okay? Because 64 is already on the right side. Okay, nasa right side na siya ng equation. So that's why we have to remove first the squared o yung 2. So with that, what we're going to do is, paano ba tayo nagre-remove ng squared? So we have to get the square root of both sides. So square root of the left and then square root of the right. So here. So square root of y plus 7 squared. And of course, we have to get also the square root of 64. Hindi po natin, okay, for Rafael, no? So this is just a reminder for Rafael. Wag po nating i-expand. Gawin natin y plus 7 times y plus 7 kasi it will become more complicated. Okay, in that case kasi parang 'di ba, kumbaga sa isang daan, meron tayong tinatawag na shortcut, meron tayong tinatawag na long cut. Yung kay Rafael parang long cut 'yan, parang lalayo ka pa. Okay? So what we are doing is the shortcut part. Now, let's proceed. So with that, we can cancel already the square root and the squared. So cancel na natin yan. And what will remain is y plus 7. And of course, don't forget to simplify the right side. What is the square root of 64? So the square root of 64 is positive, negative, 8. So yan po yung magiging panibago nating equation. So nawala na yung squared, no? So ngayon, isa na lang ang kasama ng variable, yung 7. So paano natin tatanggalin yung 7? So take note, yan po ay plus 7. So paano natin gagawing 0? So we have to subtract 7, no? So we have to subtract 7 on both sides. So 7 minus 7 on the left. So do it to the left, do it to the right. So we have also to subtract 7 on the right side. Kapag ganyan, we can cancel already the 7 minus 7 and alone na yung variable. And we have y is equal to positive negative 8 minus 7. Final answer na ba to? Anyone? On the comment section. Sir, alone na po yung variable. Final answer na ba yan? Kasi di ba ang end goal natin is to make the variable alone. Let me see a comment. Not yet. Okay? So tama. So not yet. So this is not yet in the final answer. Hindi pa po ito final answer. Kasi yung right side ay hindi pa simplified. Yes, very good, Gerald Celeste. Pwede pa po i-simplify. Ngayon kasi, kaya hindi ko siya dinerecho i-simplify kasi meron siyang positive negative 8. So to simplify that, kailangan natin paghiwalayin yan. Okay? Kailangan natin paghiwalayin. Paghihiwalayin natin yung 8 minus 7, kukunin muna natin yung positive, and then we have negative 8 minus 7. So nakuha ba yon? Kasi di ba nga, dalawa yung value ng 8, positive at negative. So therefore here, dalawa yung magiging sagot natin. Kunin muna na yung positive 8. So balikan natin. Positive 8 muna, so 8 minus 7. And then the other one, negative 8 minus 7. And then after that, we're going to solve. So nawala na yung positive negative, okay? Tinanggal na natin kasi pinaghiwalay na natin. So solve na natin, simple na lang to, no? So 8 minus 7, so yan po pinaghiwalay. So 8 minus 7, so that is 1. So the first value of the variable y is equal to 1. And the other one, so negative 8 minus 7. Sige nga, check natin kung makukuha niyo yung tamang sagot. Negative 8 minus 7. O parang kinulang yung kay Rafael, no? Okay, the answer here is negative 15. Yung iba nahihirapan kasi both negative, no? So bibigyan ko kayo ng tip. Kapag parehong negative, no, negative 8 tas negative 7, pareho ng sign. So ipagsama nyo lang. So 8 plus 7 ay 15, tama? And then kopyahin nyo lang yung sign na negative. So that's why it's negative 15. So ganun po nakuha yung negative 15. Okay, next. So we're done with the... Okay, tapos na po tayo sa solving quadratic equation by extracting the square root. So the next part is solving quadratic equation by factoring. Okay, here in this part, hindi natin pwedeng idiretso na gamitin yung mga tips, no? Pero magagamit pa rin natin yung tips sa pahuling part na ng factoring. Okay, now, so let's have an activity. So makinig po sa instruction, no? So we have here a table. The activity is called sum and product. Kasi in factoring, magagamit natin to. So kaya kailangan alamin muna natin or i-review. So we have here sum and product. So gagawin ko muna ng example yung number 1. Okay? So kung mapapansin nyo, yung first column is the sum. And then the second column is the product. And then we're going to find the numbers. Ngayon po, ang gagawin natin, you have to think of two numbers. So mag-isip po kayo ng dalawang number na kung saan kapag pinag-add yun, 11. Okay, parang ano to parang riddle. Para siyang riddle, no? So mag-isip kayo ng number, ng dalawang number na kapag pinag-add 11. Tapos kailangan yung dalawang number na pinag-add nyo, dapat pag pinag-multiply naman yun, 30. Nakuha po ba? Ayun, meron na agad nakakuha ng sagot. No? So naintindihan? So kapag pinag-add yung dalawang number, dapat 11. At the same time, pag pinag-multiply, when we multiply the two numbers, dapat 30. Very good. So the answer here is 5 and 6. So paano nangyari yon? 5 plus 6, so that is 11. 5 times 6, that is 30. So that's why that is the answer. And how about the second? The second one, negative 13 at saka positive 36. May negative na. Paano yan? Tingnan nga natin kung sino makakuha ng sagot dun sa pangalawa. How about negative 13 and positive 36? Okay, nice one, Daniel Silva. Tama. Daniel Silva, tama. So that is negative 9 and negative 4. Okay? Paano nangyari yon? Negative 9 and negative 4. So i-add muna natin negative 9 plus negative 4. So parehong negative, di ba? So kapag parehong negative, i-add lang natin yung number. So 9 plus 4 is 13. And then copy the negative sign. So tama, negative 13. I-multiply naman natin. Negative 9 times negative 4. Pareho ng sign, kapag pinag-multiply, it will become positive. And 9 times 4 is 36. Tama rin yun. Very good. So that is the answer. Pwede nyo magkabaliktad, negative 4 at negative 9. Pareho lang naman yun. So how about the third one? Negative 21, the sum, And then ang product is negative 100. Let's see nga kung may makakuha ng tamang sagot. Negative 21, then negative 100. So parang napapaisip na yung iba, no? 10 and 11. 10 plus 11, 21 yun, positive. Pati pag pinag-multiply mo, hindi siya 100. 110 yan. Negative 25 and 4. May iba pa bang sagot? Okay. Pag negative 10 and negative 11, hindi pwede. Magiging positive 110 yun. Pati hindi siya 100. Well, actually, tama yung negative 25 and 4. Very good, no? Negative 25 and positive 4. O, try natin, di ba? Negative 25 plus 4. Magkaiba ng sign. Tama? So, kung magkaiba ng sign yung 25 at 4, ima-minus natin. So, it will be 21. Ngayon, paano natin nalaman na negative? Kasi yung 25 ay mas malaki sa 4. Ang sign ng 25 ay negative. So therefore, the answer is negative 21. So that is the sum, tama. And of course, if you're going to multiply negative 25 times 4, magkaiba ng sign. Kapag pinag-multiply yan, so that will lead to negative answer. And 25 times 4 is 100. So very good, no? So the answer is negative 100. Yan. Ang tanong, sir, pwede ba ang 25 at negative 4? Pwede po bang magkabaliktad yung sign? So who can answer that? Pwede ba? Pwede ba magkabaliktad yung sign? Acceptable ba yun? Let me see in the comment section. No. Bakit? Kaya, what will happen kapag kapag nagkabaliktad yung sign? Paano pag ginawa nating positive 25 and negative 4? What will happen? Pag pinag-multiply natin yan, negative 100 pa rin, tama. 'Di ba? But the concern here is kapag pinag-add natin yan, 25 plus negative 4. Mas malaki yung 25, 'di ba? So magiging positive. Yes, tama. Cyril Dwight Bilale. Magiging positive po yung 21. Yes, very good, Gerald Celeste. So kaya hindi po pwedeng magkabaliktad ang sign. Okay? Hindi po pwedeng magkabaliktad ang sign. Rafael, kapag pinag-times mo yung 25 at negative 4, negative 100 pa rin yun. Ang concern natin ay yung sum, okay? So next, how about 15 and negative 54? 15 and negative 54. Bibigyan ko kayo ng clue, no? Pag ang product negative, automatic yung dalawang number ay magkaiba ng sign. Pag ang product ay negative, automatic magkaiba ng sign. O katulad niya, 9 and 6. Mukhang tama no? Yung 9 at 6. So hindi po pwedeng 9 at 6. Positive 9 at saka 6 hindi po pwede. 15 yun, pero positive 54 ang kalalabasan nun. Dapat negative 54. Hindi rin pwedeng negative 9 at saka positive 6. Kasi negative 9 plus 6, magiging negative 3 yun, hindi siya 15. May nakakuha na ng tamang sagot nakita ko na. So balikan ko lang. Ayun, nakuha ni Carlos Reynaldo. Okay, si Carlos Reynaldo yung nakakuha ng sagot. Ang tamang sagot po dito ay, okay, so mali yun, no? So ang tamang sagot dito ay negative 3 and 18. Yan, medyo tricky din to no? Medyo tricky din. Kasi yung 9 at 6 mukhang tama siya Kasi yung 9 at 6 pag pinag-add mo, 15. Pag pinag-multiply mo, 54. Pero magkakatalo sa sign. Ang tamang sagot dito ay negative 3 and 18. Kasi 18 plus negative 3, so that is positive 15. 18 times negative 3, magkaiba ng sign, pinag-multiply, negative yung negative 54. Hindi po pwede ang negative 6 at saka 9. Kasi pag pinag-add mo yung negative 6 at saka 9, positive 3 lang yun. Hindi siya magiging positive 15. Same with negative 9 and 6, mali rin yun. Mali rin po ang negative 9 and negative 6. Kasi pag pinag-add mo yung negative 9 at saka negative 6, magiging negative 15. There is only one answer. So ang answer dito ay negative 3 and 18. So yan po ang tamang sagot. Okay, last one. So before we proceed, last one. So how about negative 4 and negative 32? Again, kapag ang product ay negative, automatic, isang positive, isang negative yung number. So what is the answer here? Okay, good. May nakuha na agad. Negative 8 and positive 4. Very good. So negative 8 plus 4, so that is negative 4. So again, hindi po pwedeng magkabaliktad yung sign. Hindi pwedeng maging positive 8 tapos negative 4. Mali po yun. Kasi pag naging positive yung 8 at negative yung 4, magiging positive 4 yung sum. Mali na po. And of course, negative 8 times 4 is negative 32. Okay, so medyo na refresh na agad yung inyong mga isip. Okay? So let's proceed now. So review naman. So let's have a review. Paano ba tayo nagfa-factor? So kailangan natin itong daanan before we solve factoring. Hindi kayo pwedeng hindi pwedeng isa lang sa gera kung hindi handa. So you need to be ready first, no? So that's why we have to review factoring binomials. And then later on, we're going to review factoring trinomials. When we say binomial, that is consist of two terms. Okay? So hindi po tayo gagamit ng FOIL method dito in factoring. Okay? In factoring binomials. Okay, so pwede niyo po itong screenshot. So I'm going to teach you the steps in factoring binomials. Pwede niyo screenshot to. So number 1, take the GCF. Take the GCF. So what is the GCF? Greatest common factor. Pag sinabi natin greatest common factor, so when we have two numbers, ano yung pwedeng i-divide? Ano yung pinakamataas na pwedeng i-divide doon sa dalawang number na yun? Okay? For example, 8 and 4. 8 and 4. Anong pinakamataas na pwedeng i-divide sa 8 and 4? So the GCF of 8 and 4 is 4. Kasi ang pwedeng i-divide yung 8 sa 4, pwede ring i-divide yung 4 sa 4. Okay? So that is GCF. The number 2, divide. So yan lang po yung dalawang step. Simple lang. So take the GCF and then divide. So I'm going to explain that. So how are we going to factor this? Okay, so we have 12y squared plus 16y. Paano natin siya ipa-factor? So the first one is to take the GCF of the two terms. Ano ba yung two terms dito? Ang dalawang terms dito yung 12y squared at saka yung 16y. Okay? Yan po yung ating tawag dito, two terms, 12y squared and 16y. So kukunin natin yung GCF ng 12y squared at saka ng 16y. So gawin natin siya one by one. So we're going to do it one by one. So yung number muna. Yan. Ano ba ang GCF ng 12 at 16? So to make it, we're not going to use distribution. Factoring po tayo, okay? Factoring. Parang kabaligtaran yan nung sinasabi ni Carlos, yung distribution. So ano po ang GCF ng 12 at 16? In a simpler language, so para mas madali yung kuha yung GCF, ano yung pwedeng i-divide sa 12 at 16? Or ano yung pinakamataas na pwedeng i-divide sa 12 at saka 16? So, yung number muna, no? Pwede ba ang 8? Pwede ba ang 8? So, hindi na pwede yung 8 kasi 12 divided by 8, hindi na siya divisible, no? So, the correct answer here is 4. Tama yun. So yan na po yung pinakamataas. Hindi po 2. Kasi yung 2 pwede rin. 12 divided by 2, 16 divided by 2 pwede. Pero hindi kasi yun yung pinakamataas. Ang pinakamataas dito ay yung 4. Now, after getting the GCF of the number, so we will get the GCF of the variable. So yan no, para makita natin step by step kung paano mangyayari or paano makuha yung factor. So what is the GCF of y squared and y? Sir, hindi naman mahirap paano yan? Mahirap ata yan, sir. So actually madali lang to, no? So when we are getting the GCF of two variables and then same variable, parehong y, tapos magkaiba lang siya ng exponent, ganito po ang technique diyan. Identify ninyo ano ba yung mas maliit, yung may mas maliit na number, yung y squared o yung y, or yung may mas maliit na exponent. So ang may mas maliit na exponent ay yung y. Okay? So in getting the GCF of two terms na parehong variable, kung ano yung may mas maliit na exponent, yun yung GCF. So therefore, ang GCF natin dito ng y squared at y ay yung y. Again, kung ano yung may mas maliit na exponent, yun yung kukunin natin. So hindi pwedeng y squared kasi mas malaki yung exponent niya. So yan na po yung GCF ng 12y squared at 16y. Ang GCF niya ay 4y. So we are done with the step 1. So the next one is divide. Sir, ano po yung i-divide dyan? Ngayon, i-divide natin yung 12y squared sa 4y. Okay? I-divide natin yung 16y sa 4y. So ganyan po ang gagawin. And then we're going to write it this way. So ganyan po ang mangyayari. So paano nangyari yan, no? So nagkaroon ng quantity. Very good, si Gerald Celeste, 3y plus 4. So 12y squared divided by 4y, so that is 3y. So paano nangyari? 12 divided by 4 is 3. And then y squared divided by y ay y. So kaya naging 3y. And then 16y divided by 4y. 16 divided by 4 is 4, kaya nagkaroon tayo ng 4 dito. And then y divided by y, cancel na yon. So wala na yon. So y divided by y is 1. So wala na po yun. So that's why the answer in 16y divided by 4y is 4. So this is how we factor binomials. Okay? So take the GCF and then divide. So that is our final answer. 4y times 3y plus 4. Yan po yung factor. Okay, next. So factoring trinomials naman. Okay? Here in factoring trinomials, dito natin magagamit yung ginawa nating activity kanina. Kung matatandaan nyo, yung sum and product. So dito natin siya gagamitin. So what are the steps in factoring trinomials? Number 1, create a template. Ano yung template na yan? So later on, ipapakita ko. Number 2, apply the sum and product procedure. Yung ginawa nating activity kanina. And then number 3, input the numbers. Okay? So, i-follow lang to. So, I'm going to explain that. So, for example, we have x squared plus 8x plus 15. So, number 1, create a template. So, wag pong kalimutan to yung template ha. So, ano yung template na yan? So, yan po yung template na sinasabi ko. So, gumawa ng dalawang quantity. So, may dalawang quantity dyan or dalawang parentheses. And then, ilagay kung ano yung variable na given. Ang variable na given ay x. So, kaya ilalagay natin yung x dyan sa una at pangalawang quantity. So, ayan yung tinutukoy ko na create a template. Okay? So, malinaw po. Okay? So, next. So, apply the sum and product. So, paano natin i-apply yung sum and product dito katulad ng ginawa natin kanina? So, if we're going to take a look at the given, so we have here 8x at saka 15. So, we have 8 and then 15 as two numbers. Ngayon, yung nasa gitnang term, yung 8, so that is the sum. And then yung huling number, yung constant or yung walang kasamang variable, that is the product. O now, i-apply natin yung sum and product procedure. So, what are the two numbers? Ano yung dalawang number? Na kapag pinag-add mo 8, kapag pinag-multiply mo ay 15. Okay, the answer here is 3 and 5 or 5 and 3. Pwede naman magkabaliktad yan kasi pareho lang naman ng sign. Okay, good. So now, alam na natin yung number 3 and 5. So we are done in the step 2 or with the step 2. Ngayon, we're going to do the step 3, input the numbers. Di ba meron tayong template? Ayan yung ginawa nating template. Diyan natin ilalagay yung number. Yung 3 and 5. So we have plus 3 and then we have plus 5. Yun yung nakuha nating sagot dun sa step number 2. Pwede magkabaliktad, pwedeng x plus 5, pwedeng x plus 3. Kasi pareho lang naman ang sign. So yan, 3 plus 5, that is 8. Pinapakita ko lang po. And then 3 times 5, that is 15. So that's how we get the numbers. And then we are done factoring trinomials. Ganun po mag-factor ng trinomials. So create a template. Ayan yung template. Okay? Gawa ng dalawang quantity and then ilagay kung ano yung given na variable, ang variable x. So number 2, apply the sum and product. Ang sum and product is 8 and then 15. The two numbers are 3 and 5. And then input the numbers. Okay, next. So how about this one? Let's factor another trinomial. Paano po pag different yung sign? 'Di ba kanina sa sum and product, 'di ba kanina meron tayong given na magkaiba yung sign? Paano magkaiba yung sign? Kunwari plus 7 then minus 30, ganun ba? So medyo malawak po yung tanong ni Gerald na paano po kapag different sign. So babalikan kita mamaya, Gerald, okay? So kindly clear the question muna. So let's proceed po. So n squared minus 7n minus 30. Okay, so the first one, we have to create again a template. So ganun pa rin, dalawang quantity and then ilagay kung ano yung given na variable, which is n. Okay? Now, so apply the sum and product procedure. So again, the sum is negative 7 and then the product is negative 30. So what are the two numbers na kapag pinag-add mo ay negative 7, kapag pinag-multiply mo ay negative 30? Sige, try, go. Pag pinag-add mo, negative 7. Pag pinag-multiply, negative 30. Okay, good. Arthur Aguas. Good. So negative 10 and 3. Okay, so once we got already or once we get the number, so we have to input. Okay, ilalagay lang natin yan. So we have n minus 10 and then n plus 3. Pwedeng magkabaliktad yung number, okay? Pwedeng maging n plus 3, pwedeng maging n minus 10. Pero hindi pwedeng magkabaliktad ang sign. Okay, hindi pwedeng maging n plus 10 tas n minus 3. Mali po yun. So check natin. So negative 10 plus 3, so that is negative 7. So negative 10 times 3, so that is negative 30. And that is already the factor. Okay, now, so dun tayo sa main part, no? Solving quadratic equation by factoring. So again, we have also steps in solving quadratic equation by factoring. So number 1, make the equation standard. So yan, kaya kailangan dapat alam niyo yung standard form. But this is only if possible, no? Ano yung ibig sabihin doon? Kapag yung given naka-standard form na, so hindi na natin gagawin tong number 1 step kasi naka-standard form na, no? So yun yung ibig sabihin na if possible. And then step number 2, so we have to factor. So kaya kanina tinuruan ko kayo kung paano mag-factor kasi kailangan yan sa solving quadratic equation by factoring. And then number 3 is to solve and then equate to 0. So I'm going to explain that again. Okay, here. So this is our first example. So this time may equal sign na tayo kasi kailangan ng quadratic equation. So we have here 5x squared plus 15x equal to 0. Okay, let's check. Naka-standard form na ba? So let me see in the comment section. Naka-standard form na ba yung given? 15x or 5x squared plus 15x equal to 0? Okay, yes, naka-standard form na. O review tayo. Paano malalaman kung naka-standard form? Number 1, dapat equal to 0. Yes, naka-equal to 0 siya. Number 2, dapat yung degree ng kada term ay pababa. So nag-umpisa tayo sa 5x squared and then 15x. So tama naman yun. Okay? And then, kailangan at most 3 terms. So, pwede naman yan kahit dalawang term lang. Sabi ko nga, wag lang lalampas ng 3 terms. Okay lang kahit dalawa. So, naka-standard na yan. So, in short, hindi na natin gagawin yung number 1. Next one, we're going to factor. Now, kanina tinuruan ko kayong mag-factor ng binomial at saka ng trinomial. So here, this is a binomial. Okay? Ngayon, kailangan natin munang kunin ang GCF. So what is the GCF of 5 and 15? So ano po ang GCF? Ano po ang pinakamataas na number na pwedeng i-divide sa 5 and 15? So the answer here is 5. The next one, so ano po ang GCF ng x squared at saka x? So ang x squared at x, ang GCF ay x. Kung ano nga po yung may mas maliit na exponent, yun po ang GCF. So which is x. So therefore, ang factor ng 5x squared or ang GCF ng 5x squared at saka ng 15x ay 5x. So after that, so we have to divide. Okay? Di ba kanina dun sa binomial, factoring binomial, take the GCF and then divide. Okay, next. So when we divide, so 5x squared divided by 5x, so that is x, x na lang. So cancel na yung 5. And then 15x divided by 5x, so 15 divided by 5 is 3. And then x divided by x, so cancel na yon. So wala na yung x. So that's why we have x plus 3. So we are done factoring. Ito na po yung pinaka-factor. Now, yung bagong gagawin natin is the solving part. Kasi nga, ang ating topic is solving quadratic equation. Solve and then equate to 0. So here, ang gagawin po natin, we're going to divide the equation into 2. So kukunin po natin yung 5x equal to 0. So kaya nakalagay po dyan equate to 0. So ibig sabihin, i-equal natin sa 0. So yung 5x, i-equal natin sa 0. And then yung x plus 3, equal din natin sa 0. So ayan po yung pangatlong step to solve. Okay? Now, so the first one is 5x equal to 0. I-solve muna natin. So syempre, hindi pa alone yung variable, no? So may kasama siyang 5 katabi. Ngayon, so to remove 5, so we have to divide it by 5. Then do it to the left, do it to the right. Okay? So nag-divide tayo ng 5 sa left, dapat mag-divide din tayo ng 5 sa right. And then cancel natin yung 5 and then x will be alone. And of course, 0 divided by 5 is, that is 0. Okay? So the answer here is 0. So madali lang naman dyan eh. Ang technique lang dyan, kahit anong number yung katabi ng variable. Kunwari, kahit 10x yan equal to 0, ang x ay 0. Okay? So lagi siyang 0. Next, how about this one? X plus 3 equal to 0. So may kasamang 3. But this time, naka-add siya plus 3. So how are we going to remove 3? So we're going to subtract 3 both sides para maging para maging 0 yung left side. So we have to subtract 3 para matanggal yung 3. And then subtract 3 also on the right side. Kasi nga, do it to the left, do it to the right. And now we can cancel 3 minus 3. And then alone na yung variable. And then of course, 0 minus 3, so that is negative 3. So that is the answer. So here in our given, so the answer is x is equal to 0 and negative 3. So that's how we solve quadratic equation by factoring. So but this one, this is a binomial. So how about this one? So this is the last one. Okay, so this is the last one. So m squared plus 8m minus 48. Let me show you first the steps. Again, skip na natin yung step number 1 kasi yung given ay standard form na. So we don't have to make it standard anymore. Okay? So next one is factor. But this time, trinomial yan. So gagamitin natin dito yung sum and product procedure. So the first one is to create a template. Okay, create a template. So yan po yung template, dalawang quantity, and then i-write or isulat yung kung ano man yung given na variable, which is m. And then apply the sum and product procedure. So the sum is 8, and then the product is negative 48. So ano po yung dalawang number? Kapag pinag-add po ay 8, and then kapag pinag-multiply mo, negative 48. So ano po yung dalawang number? So let me see in the comment section. Kapag pinag-add yung dalawang number 8, kapag pinag-multiply mo naman, it's negative 48. Very good. So the answer is 12 and negative 4. So pwede na magkabaliktad. Pwedeng negative 4 muna and then plus 12. So negative 4 plus 12, so that is 8. And then, okay, so negative 4 times 12, so that is negative 48. And with that, we are done with the step 2. Okay? We are done factoring. So next one is to solve. So again, equate to 0. Hahatiin ulit natin yan. So paghiwalayin yung m minus 4 at saka yung m plus 12. So we will have m minus 4 equal to 0. So equate to 0. And then m plus 12 equal to 0. Then solve. Solve muna natin yung m minus 4. Meron kasi talagang shortcut dito, no? Kung isa lang naman yung kasama ng number, kunwari plus 4 or minus 4, so to solve for that, pwede mong baliktarin na lang yung sign, no? So since we have m minus 4, so therefore ang value ng m ay positive 4. Okay? Binaliktad lang. So ayun yung shortcut, no? Okay, how about the next one? M plus 12 equal to 0. So dahil plus 12 yan, m plus 12, so baliktarin lang yung sign. So therefore, ang value ng m ay negative 12. So that is the shortcut. Okay? Magagamit lang yun kapag ganyan yung itsura ng given. Okay? Kapag isa lang yung kasama ng variable. So that is the answer. So it's already 11:30. Nagamit na natin yung 2 hours for our class. Kasi hanggang 2 hours lang naman tayo. So hanggang factoring lang tayo, but we still have the completing the square at saka quadratic formula. So again, you can watch that here in my YouTube channel. So makikita nyo naman po yan sa sa playlist. So kindly go to my YouTube channel and then click playlist and then go to first quarter topics. So dun nyo po makikita lahat ng first quarter topics na ginawa ko for Math 9. And I think I have to end now my presentation. So thank you so much for listening and for attending our class. So again, yes, thank you so much din Gerald, no? And I hope it's the same with the others, no? Sana may natutunan din yung iba. And of course, I have to say this, no? So hindi talaga natin may iwasan na lalo na dito sa YouTube na may nagko-comment na kung sino-sino. But of course, I have to ignore that. So kailangan kong i-ignore yon. So para magpatuloy tayo sa ating klase. Dahil alam ko na marami din sa inyo na gustong matuto at gustong makapagsagot ng kanilang module ng maayos, 'di ba? Dahil hindi madali ang nangyayari sa atin ngayon na magsasagot ka ng module na mag-isa without the help of others. So that's why ginawa ko tong ganitong class, okay? Na magturo through YouTube. At ginamit ko rin yung YouTube kasi nakita ko yung naging struggle sa Google Meet at saka sa Zoom, no? So maraming hindi nakakapasok. So marami kasing hindi nakakapasok sa Zoom at saka Google Meet. So maraming gustong maka-attend ng online class kaso pag napuno na yung plan, no? So kaya mas pinili ko yung ganito na YouTube na lang. At least kahit sino or na gustong matuto talaga ay pwedeng wait, Gerald Celeste, sa ibang school ka ba? From what school are you from, Gerald Celeste? Or ibig sabihin mo ba okay lang na kahit may taga-ibang school na umattend? Yes. This is open for all. This is open for all grade 9 na gustong matuto. Kahit taga-private or any other public school, pwede. So next time, ganito po ulit ang gagawin natin. And I hope wala na yung medyo ng gugulo, no? Alam ko nakikita niyo yan sa mga comment section, but of course, I have to ignore that. Gerald Celeste, taga Novaliches ka pa, Gerald? Oo, di ba? Pero sa lahat ng estudyante ko, no? Sa lahat ng estudyante ko na nanonood ngayon and sa lahat ng kahit hindi ko estudyante, no, give respect, no? Give respect. 'Yun lang naman eh. Respect lang. Kasi ako gusto kong magturo and then of course, yung iba, karamihan dito gustong matuto. Kaya nga nandito kayo, 'di ba? Kasi gusto nyong matuto, gusto nyong um, masagutan yung mga module nyo at makakuha ng maayos na grade. So shout out dun sa taga Novaliches pa, no? So pwedeng gano'n, no? Yes, this is open for all. Okay, this is open for all na gustong matuto. Kahit hindi ka grade 9, okay lang eh. Okay? So yun lang po. I think I have to end this. So again, thank you so much for attending. Thank you so much for attending again. And then next week po ulit. So every Monday po ang ating online class. Same time, 9:30 po. Same time. So thank you so much. So I have to end this live. And then yun pala, no, yung link ng Google Form. So ipopost ko po sa FB right after po neto. So kaya after po neto, pwede na po kayong magsagot sa Google Form. And again, kung ano po ang section ninyo, kung kayo ay tunasan 1, sagutan po ang Google Form ng tunasan 1. Kung kayo ay tunasan 2, sagutan po ang Google Form ng tunasan 2. Kung kayo ay tunasan 3, so Google Form ng tunasan 3. Kung 4, Google Form ng tunasan 4, so on and so forth. So again, for the last time, thank you so much for attending.